Okay, you guys, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button, because if I don't get over 5,000 views on the next two of these, meaning this one and the next one, I'm not doing them anymore. And it shows me that you guys are not interested in this show. So we should move on to some other topic. Okay? Because I listen to you guys. I don't need to be doing videos for myself. Talking about this blind item in the Dishing Drama Dana Patreon chat, where we post all the hottest gossip that we find during the day. Everybody joins in. It's really fun. Anyway, some people thought this might have been about Pandora. What do you guys think? So there was an interesting little tea drop that Tom Sandoval did recently regarding how Vanderpump Rules came into being, which kind of reminded me of the Valley, which I want to share with you. There's Kristen Doty at Pandora's bachelorette party. It was covered on Bravo. This is where Alex Baskin starts to realize that girls working for Lisa Vanderpump have a lot of drama and could make their own cool show. And Lisa Vanderpump sort of pitches it.
So Housewives started filming, and when Pandora got married, she was on her bachelorette party. They filmed that. They covered that on Housewives. And when they were there, it was Kristen, Katie, Stassi, a bunch of other people too. There was like some fucking drama going on. And Lisa was like, listen, like, instead of being quiet about it, like, kind of lean into it, like, basically saying, like, don't be quiet about it because you're not on the show. Be quiet about it. And so the producers kind of noticed this. They got this sort of light bulb saying, like, you know, hey, this is a way. And Lisa, of course, you know, the ambitious woman she is, was like, there's a lot of drama that happens at SUR, blah, blah, blah. So, they shot a pilot.
Now, further to this, of course, Lisa Vanderpump and Alex Baskin convinced Brandi Glanville to go on like the beginning episode of Vanderpump Rules to launch the show with a bang, where Brandi Glanville calls out Sheena Shea for cheating with her husband while they were married. And Sheena Shea, you know, has her reaction to it, and you know, I think she said he lied to her or something. And Brandi Glanville's like, I don't care, you're a homewrecker. And anyway, they end up having this fight. And it was like a great way to cross over Lisa Vanderpump's show with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And this was a big favor Brandi did for Lisa and Alex, which then was repaid with Alex using her up and then basically having her tossed off Beverly Hills and not giving her anything else to really do, except for much later Ultimate Girls Trip, and that's pretty much it. I mean, maybe they threw her traitors too, but really, truly, they didn't do much for Brandi when it first happened, only after her son pressured Andy Cohen publicly. And then Lisa Vanderpump, after Brandi Glanville hits her in the face in Beverly Hills, then Lisa Vanderpump, I guess, tells like Evolution she like wants Brandi Glanville fired and somehow helps Brandi Glanville get fired off Beverly Hills. That's what Brandi thinks anyway. So that is the thanks Brandi gets for also helping with the launch of LVP. If you were wondering if Lisa Vanderpump is collaborating with Hulu a lot and maybe isn't so sweet on Bravo anymore, you'd probably be right, just from listening to this interview. And maybe this advice should have been given to Brandi Glanville.
Are you happy for her in this new chapter, following in your footsteps a little bit?
Did she escaped?
Is that what we call it?
I think that's what I call it,
Yeah.
for sure. I think she was, you know, always a wonderful woman. She had great ambition and a great career, and she wasn't defined by housewives. So now it's on to the next thing.
Escape. Interesting choice of words. So Lisa Vanderpump is supposed to be a subject in Sheena Shea's book, and Sheena's doing like a tell-all about Lisa and I guess all of her dirty laundry. This came from Kristen Doty, who spilled this tea on a podcast. And so that is why Sheena Shea is on Lisa Vanderpump's, I guess, shit list, and sort of vice versa. And that's what's going on there. Meanwhile, Stassi's kind of up LVP's ass since she joined Villa Rosa season 2.
Hartford, because Lisa, I don't know if it's just her energy. Hartford became so obsessed with Lisa while we were in Italy that it became a way for me and Bo to like discipline her or bribe her. Like, if you don't do this, we're gonna call Lisa, or if we do this, we're gonna tell Lisa. And then whenever I was getting ready to go do something, she's like, "You're going with Lisa? Can I come with Lisa?" And I'm like, "This is so crazy."
I mean, I even taught at the children's school for years. You know, I
That's
love
what Lisa
little
Vanderpump,
children.
your school
I mean,
teacher.
they were really an addition to the whole experience. experience. I mean, they weren't on camera, obviously. Hartford had a whole scene with Teddy, who she insists that she's going to marry, and the families will entwine.
Stassi turned down the Valley. Jax really wanted her, but she said no. She didn't want to be part of the toxicity of the show. Also, I thought I'd play you this nice little recap of Jessie Lally. Now, I covered some of this last season on the Valley and shared it with you, like the Anna Nicole Smith stuff. But I thought you'd enjoy a refresher on Jessie Lally. It should not surprise you that Jessie Lally is a fellow masshole to me. From Massachusetts. And I'm going to have Christina Chronicles tell you the rest.
Raised in Boston, Massachusetts, eventually he moved to New York City. He met and had an affair with Anna Nicole Smith while on the set for a trim spa campaign, which I'm pretty sure I remember seeing back in the day on TV. And according to his bio on the Beverly Hills Estates website, it says that his interests in architecture and real estate go back to his years studying mathematical science at Norwich University. He spent his nights learning design in the architecture lab. And then he would go on to study real estate economics at the London School of Economics after completing his degree at the University of Massachusetts. Also, according to his bio on here, it says that he started his first 6 months as an agent at a record-setting pace, selling $39.6 million as part of America's top grossing team, Williams & Williams, while also working at Hilton Highland, which is owned by Kathy Hilton's husband, Rick, which is also where he met Michelle. Jessie was also roommates with Jax at some point while they both lived in New York trying to be actors and models. And at some point they had a falling out, but I'm not sure if we know that full story. But later on in life, after they were both married, they would reconnect in California. And now they're both on the Valley.
But Jessie, stop torturing Michelle and calling her a whore. I mean, she is the mother of your children. So then there was some gossip dropped that Lala Kent, Sheena Shea, Tom Schwartz, who are all making appearances from Vanderpump Rules on the Valley, are not being paid. They're getting paid as what they call guest stars, which means you're featured on the show because you're an old Bravo celebrity, but they don't pay you. They just kind of promote you and you do it because you want to stay relevant. It's good for like you as a reality star to stay like present of mind. Now, I do think Tom Schwartz, like minimally appearing on an episode with Jax Taylor, could qualify for that. But when they start doing after shows or showing up in multiple episodes and they're significant to the plot point, then I think they get appearance fees. And the usual going appearance fee for a new show is, I think, $3,500 for Bravo if you make it in the final edit. So I think that's how they're rewarding these OGs. That's what I think. And they're willing to do it because they, you know, first of all, want money. And second of all, they want to keep their relationship sweet with Bravo and, of course, the fans. Now, on the other hand, Jax, Kristen Doty, and Brittany Cartwright are making bank. They're making the most money as cast members on the Valley above all the others. So, and Jax is making the most because he's kind of the producer. So then another thing happened, which was I got sent a letter about how Jax Taylor ruined a woman's life and somebody else related to this woman. And it was shocking. And she said I could read the letter to the patrons in the bonus audios. So I did. And there, it's in there if you want to go hear it. To make matters worse, Jax Taylor's podcast tour dates were quietly canceled after the Valley star was slammed for disgusting behavior on the show. Multiple venues have already canceled on Jax, delaying the launch of this already troublesome tour. I almost forgot to tell you guys, you know who made Jax go to rehab, quote unquote rehab? His manager. It was a business decision. Now you're really going to want to listen to that bonus audio with the letter. Patrons, you know why. Also, it turns out that Janet, who is on the Valley, was originally a fan of Vanderpump Rules, trying to get on the show and everything, I guess, hanging around per Kristen. This is what she said. I don't think it's any surprise to anyone about Janet being a fan. I'm pretty sure it's out there on the net that Janet was introduced to our friend group years and years ago as a fan of the show, Kristen said, and now we said it. So, wow, okay. Well, maybe you guys should try out for the Valley now. Also, Kristen Doty seems to question whether or not Jax Taylor's truly sober and really has quit cocaine and alcohol, as he says. Dr. Drew thinks he's a narcissist after doing a test with him on his show. I mean, boy, why does this guy get ass? It's so weird. All right, let's get into the recap now. So we start the show with Jax going off to rehab and fulfilling the journey. And then Janet's husband comes back and she's like, I love you so much. You're such a good husband for doing this and being like such a man. And they have a moment. And meanwhile, Brittany is very sad and she's like, he's a master manipulator. I hope he doesn't not get the help he needs because he's so charismatic. Like he convinces people that he's not, broken in some way when he really is. And then we jump to the next scene. So then we jump to a very metrosexual, remember that term, moment with Jesse Lally. He invites Kristen Doty and her boyfriend over and serves them really big croissants and, Nutella and tea, dragging Michelle because he thinks she's cheated on him. So after he puts out his very pretty tea spread for Kristen Doty from his wedding tea set, he decides to say that he thinks Michelle Lally's been cheating on him at least once, maybe twice, and probably for 2 years. And the reason he thinks this is because every morning she goes hiking with makeup on, I'm assuming Runyon Canyon, which is the big hike, and that's unusual unless you're trying to pick up a guy or you're meeting a guy. True. And then he said that he knows Aaron has a honey company and that honey's been sitting in his cabinet for 2 years. So she's definitely known him for that long and was doing things with him socially to get that honey. And then he mentioned that she said, well, when he asked her about the honey and where she got it, she said that she got it near her hike. And that, of course, is where Aaron lives. So Jesse put this all together and was like, she's been cheating on me for a while with him. And then Kristen jumps in and says, listen, the person I thought she was seeing when I said that she had a boyfriend for like a year wasn't Aaron. So you should know that. And so that happens. And then Janet calls and invites Kristen Doty to Dave & Buster's for her birthday on Friday night. And Kristen doesn't know what to say because she doesn't really want to go, probably because it's Dave & Buster's. I like Dave & Buster's, but most people don't. And kids do, though. And then Kristen just doesn't want to go, I guess, because it's Janet. So anyway, there's a weird, awkward scene with that and sort of ends and we leave it there. He also invites everybody to my favorite place, which I lived quite a few years in, Santa Barbara. Oh my God, I would have done that group trip. I would have ripped any person apart to go on that one. Love Santa Barbara. It's such a peaceful place, though. How are they going to do this and make so much hate? Anyway, so we know that's where they're going, and Jesse's supposed to be organizing it, and Kristen offers to help. So that is that scene. Now, what's weird is we jump to a scene where Michelle Lally is telling Aaron that she's going to Santa Barbara on this group trip that Jesse's having, which he's invited to, allegedly. I mean, if the producers didn't invite him, we don't know. And he says, well, I don't want to go on this trip. I'll just stay back on this one. I'll sit this one out. And she's like, great, I'll go. But the thing I felt was like, if the producers didn't make Aaron not go, he's kind of a douche to leave his girlfriend with such a jerky guy as Jesse and not go with her and protect her. And that really rubbed me wrong. So I'm going to hope that Alex Baskin told him not to go. So the next scene is Kristen Doty with Nia. They go to an acupuncture place. She's getting some acupuncture to help her get pregnant, and she's also doing other things. Nia explains that she, believe it or not, with all the babies she has, couldn't get pregnant, and they couldn't figure out why. And so the acupuncture worked for her, which really means, you guys, sometimes you're trying to have a baby so badly, and you don't have a physical problem, behind it, and that it's the stress. You're stressed out, so you can't get pregnant. It's as simple as relaxing. And so for Nia, this relaxing thing was acupuncture, and Kristen's hoping it works for her too. Plus, I'm sure acupuncture has some, other cool thing it does to you that makes it all happen. So anyway, Kristen talks about how sad she was when she lost her baby. And then we jump to a scene where Luke, Kristen's future fiance, is talking to Danny Bucco, and he's with the kids, and he doesn't seem to interact with the kids for a guy who wants a baby so bad. Anyway, Danny says, when are you going to ask her? And he's like, you're not going to believe this. I've been planning it, and I haven't told anyone, not even my brother. Danny's honored that he was told that. And then religious Danny, gets a little mischievous. And he tells Luke about the boys' chat that Jax set up, which has 20 guys in it and Jesse's in it. And one of the things that's said in the chat by Jesse is that he knows that Michelle can't afford her rent. How is she paying this rent? She hasn't closed a real estate deal in 2 years. And rather than assuming it's Aaron who's paying her rent, he goes to a really dark place and is like, I happen to think I have evidence that she's being paid $1,500 a night to be a prostitute, like to go like an escort in LA with someone. So like she's got a sugar daddy, kind of thing. So Danny says this to Luke, and this was in the chat. Yeah. Wow. Now, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that Jesse is retaliating because his girlfriend's name has been brought up on the show. And he's pissed. And he's going to destroy Michelle over it, kind of playing housewives himself. So then we jump to a scene where Jesse and Janet's husband are meeting for like a coffee, and they're talking about Janet's birthday at Dave & Buster's. And of course, Jesse, true to form, for most people on the west side of LA, does not want to go to Northridge for her birthday, but is doing it anyway. And I guess what comes out is that Danny Bucco has a drinking problem, and he doesn't drink, and then he goes out with friends, and he has such a need to let off steam because he never gets to, that he overdrinks, and then he does really bad things because he probably has a little bit of a chemical imbalance, which makes his personality change. And the last time he was drinking at that level, he touched his friend's butt and was like acting like a friend of his who's gay is, to go get him a drink and call him daddy, and just was inappropriate to them. Even though they were lesbians, it didn't matter. Like they were like, don't, touch my ass and this and that. And it just was out of character for Danny. So they're worried about his drinking and his behavior when he's drinking because he's just not there anymore. So Brittany Cartwright and Kristen get together with Zach and, the husbands before they're heading over to Janet's birthday party at Dave & Buster's. And Luke tells Brittany what is said in the guys' chat about Michelle. And of course, as soon as Brittany walks into Dave & Buster's, the first thing out of her mouth is, I've got to talk to you, Michelle. Let me tell you what was said in this guy chat that Luke said to all of us. And then they are at the Dave & Buster's and Michelle starts to cry. And then they call Danny over, and Danny doesn't know Luke has said anything about this tea. So he's blindsided, and you can tell he's shocked. And he's kind of like, oh boy, I don't think he expected it to go down in the way it did. I mean, he probably expected it to come out, but not like that. What's weird is Aaron's there, but Michelle doesn't go tell Aaron what Jesse says, which is weird. She probably was afraid of a fist fight. But at this point, I mean, you might as well go for it. At least you're going to get paid. So Danny goes over and says, listen, you're in a lot of trouble because of something I did. And it wasn't just me, though. It was Luke and the whole story. And he's like, I'm glad she heard that. I was kidding, though. And that's it. Like, we're okay now. Like, oh, well, let's move topics. I mean, I don't know. This is really feeling produced at this point now. I was kind of going for it for a minute. Well, then we find out that there's a mole, Jax and Jesse think, in the guys' chat because things in there are getting leaked out in public and whatever, especially to Brittany, who seems to know Jax's moves. But as you guys may remember, Brittany has access to his technology and vice versa. So I'm sure she's just seeing his stupid guys chat, if that's even real, because this is feeling very produced. Well, it's at this point that Michelle finally hits back and she says, listen, Jesse has no money. He overspends. And so he's got no savings, like everything's in what you see. And he doesn't even pay me child support. Oh, that's going to piss me off. Okay, it's at this moment when the last scene happens that I'm like, okay, the valley has to get better. Because there's a scene where Michelle is crying. Her boyfriend, Aaron, is there, but he's not comforting her. Instead, she's in a corner with Nia. And the rest of the entire people are playing video games like nothing is happening to Michelle. And nobody goes over and says Jesse said it on camera that it was a lie. So it's so bizarre. And we just see everybody having a great time except for Michelle crying off in the corner. And her boyfriend's nowhere. Who produced this crap? Oh God, please next week be better. If the cast doesn't care about each other, why the hell should we care? All right, you guys, and on that note, I'm out.